machinations here. Question: are you surprised there was only one witness in the punishment phase, that being the mother?
Yes, that is a bit of a surprise. That usually can only happen with some type of agreement among the parties, whether formal or informal.
Okay.
So normally we would see the state put on, if you will, their punishment case, and so to hear that the first and only witness, if I'm understanding this correctly, was Karmelo's mom, I think would mean that the state views themselves as having presented a very strong case for a very harsh punishment. And it would also mean that the defense believes they've presented their best mitigating or reasons to seek lower punishment, that they believe they've presented that as well. So I think you mentioned earlier, but yeah, I think if that is the case, that the only witness we hear from is his mom, Karmelo Anthony's mom, then I think that it's a fair chance we would have a final verdict
soon.
Yes, yeah, very soon. I'm mindful, as I mentioned earlier, of the sequestration issue, and I think you guys were mentioning that whether or not the case was tried at a fast pace or not. But I do think when you tell people they're going to be sequestered, it's just more likely that they're going to make a decision faster. Mm-hmm. And it may have been, to prevent exposure to social media or other things outside of the control of a number of years.
Yeah, sequestering means when they keep you, like, in a hotel or something. I've never done a jury duty case like that. My mother told me one time, I think she was in a case like that a long, long time ago, where they made him, like, stay in a hotel, isolated. I did a case when I was on the case for a month long. I was just curious to see what jury duty was like. Little did I know they were going to pick me for a month-long case. And, it was pretty intense. It was pretty intense, being there for a month. But we weren't sequestered or anything like that. They are going to... So we should be getting the verdict for the penalty as well. Karmelo's found guilty of murder, and they're working on the penalty phase, which the judge said, I don't know, let's see here. I was looking at the wrong lady. This lady's posting from inside the courthouse, trying to see if she said anything new. They're working on the penalty phase now, and we should get the results today. The last thing that they posted was that the mother was the only person to take the stand, and maybe that was part of a deal or some type of agreement or something. And the mother was sobbing and begging for mercy for her son. So the court is working on charging documents, and when we return it, I guess the jury has to decide. So we should be hearing today. And they also said that Anthony was sobbing too, he was crying. So
if you don't do it, I'll find somebody else who will, no matter what the cost. I'm gonna find her. She was all light, fire, so attractive.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for being here. Welcome to the Chemisphere. I basically went live to try to discuss the Karmelo Anthony case. I don't even know if I can do the whole live. It's sad all the way around for me. And now we're waiting for his verdict. He's facing 5 years to 99 years in prison. And so let's see if we can get some people on here. If not, I'll end the live and we'll be done with it. But this made me really sad. It really did. If you want to click the link and come up, you're more than welcome. I just sent for my moderators. This is a last minute live. And I just sent for my moderators about 5 minutes ago. So let's see what happens. I'm gonna go ahead and turn my camera off. Until then, I was trying to figure out. I haven't been on StreamYard so long. I was trying to. It was fast. The verdict was very very fast, which was a red flag. Everything was fast. The whole trial was a red flag. The whole case, everything about it was a red flag. Um, I was trying to figure out how to put the news on here in the back screen, but I really don't know how to do that because, like I said, we haven't been on here in so long. Me and my moderators, so, and it doesn't look like they are even going to show up. So let me go ahead and flip the screen until I can get some moderators on here, please. But in the meantime, if you want to come up, the stage is open. And the crazy thing is they gave the judge gave the jury the opportunity to choose manslaughter, and they chose the match, which is murder.
Killing each other over vape pens. How many stories have we covered where it's like a stabbing over a vape pen? Addicted to vape shit. It says police rushing to extricate an Austin Metcalf supporter being surrounded by Carmelo Anthony people outside of Collin County Courthouse. Nick Sorter just posted this.
Oh yeah, that mine was made up. Let's see if I can get this on here. I don't know how to. No, I can't. No, it's not gonna show clear. The police is there. The police is just warning people to get out the street, stay out the street, stay calm. The police doesn't really want to arrest anybody because they think that that will just cause a bigger problem. Oh no, and I pray to God. I pray to God that nothing ever forces me to move back to the United States. Nothing, nothing. I cannot figure out how to add. Let me go to settings.
A lot of the Breathitt kids, I wouldn't necessarily go to this event. I don't know if somebody's gonna bring a bomb or some shit, blow the place up or something. Okay. Let's see what else.
And so when I say there's a collision, it's these concepts coexist in this, this huge range of punishment from 5 to 99 years. Yeah. And so the jurors are trying to balance and circle all of that together in a way that reaches what we will consider, as a fair result. And that's, I think, a tough thing to do.
And gut-wrenching for jurors.
Absolutely.
Right. Yeah. Right. There's not going to be a law and a boxes that you check. And it really comes down to your own conscience on a given day. And some people can be what we would call more of the high end of punishment. Some people, an eye for an eye. We've heard that before. Other folks could be, again, that a person that young, that irreparable damage has been done, and no matter what the prison sentence is, a family will have lost a loved one no matter what. Okay. So it's a much tougher deliberation than the guilt innocence, because there's, again, no
and
clear
you know what,
right answers.
I don't know what they expect, because the fact that they found him guilty of murder disturbs me a lot. How do you when the judge allowed them to give let me fix this layout. When the judge allowed them the opportunity to use manslaughter, they had three options: murder. There in Texas, there's no first, second, and third degree murder. It's just murder, manslaughter, or not guilty. The fact that they chose the max, which is murder, made me sick. The fact that the defense put one witness on the stand, the jury, there was not one Black American on that fucking jury. Like the lady said, well, there was some people of color, just not Black Americans. You right, bitch. There was no Black Americans. Why? This is America. It wasn't premeditated. How can you charge him with murder? It wasn't premeditated. How could you charge him with anything when he was clearly bullied? From the testimony and the videos, it shows that, like I said in my video, Karmelo was sitting on the ground, minding his business, not bothering anybody. I think they said at some point he was talking to his friend. He got under the tent because it was raining, and they said they tried to make a big deal out of the fact that he passed other tents. They said in court that the first tent he passed was because it was packed with people. The first empty tent was where his friend flagged him to come in at or something like that. That tent had space. The tents that he passed were packed. It was raining. Everybody was running under tents. It makes me sick that this doesn't seem like a fair trial. But did we expect a fair trial? No, we did not expect a fair trial. And in Texas, on top of that, no. We did anywhere in America, we did not expect a fair trial. That's the biggest question. What juror of his peers are they referring to? I want to know, because I always thought the rule used to be that you get to pick 6 of your jurors. Did he have a limited selection? And that's why he picked these people? Because where were the Black Americans? Are there no fucking Black American jurors in Texas? Because in California, they summons us all the fucking time. It's just sad. Now we're waiting on the verdict. And the verdict is, like I said, the sentencing, is 5 to 99 years. I'm going to keep my Black ass right over here in Ghana, in this village, and live my life. I gotta make these. Let me put my glasses on because I can't see the comments unless I post them. One of the kids under the tent was his friend, so he probably thought it was okay to. Well, apparently, it sounded like the friend flagged him. When he saw Karmelo trying to get out the rain, the friend was uh, waving him to come over. So he saw his friend over there and went to the tent. Karmelo and his brother, the big ass bullies who have jumped on and beat up their own father, who was suspended from school, decided to hover over Karmelo while he was sitting on the ground. That alone is a red flag. You choose to hover over him while he's sitting on the ground with your big corn-fed ass. You're a big ass football player, bending over him talking shit. When Karmelo said, just don't put your hands on me. Don't touch me. Not only did he put his hands on Karmelo, he put both his hands on his shoulders in a very aggressive manner. I didn't know that there was an actual fight until they showed the tape. So apparently, allegedly, I wasn't in court. There was actually a fight. Karmelo ended up going back to his backpack somehow and then pulled out the knife. This is just what they're saying on these. I've been watching this live. He went back somehow. How he made it back to his backpack. He never got up off the ground while they were fighting. He made it back to his backpack and got the knife. That's what it kind of sounds like. And he stuck him. Nah, that country has plenty of black people. I stay not far. They don't choose them because they didn't want to. Exactly. Exactly. I know there's black people there. This was intentional. Because if he got to pick 6 of his jurors and there's no black people on that jury, no black Americans, that means he didn't have any to choose from. So that was fucked up from the gate. Looking at the jury was like, oh no, like this is weird. This is not finna go right. You called one witness. Why didn't you put the twin on the stand? Why didn't you call that twin brother? Why didn't you call any of the cell phone holders, any of the people that was videotaping? Why didn't you call the coaches that Carmelo ran to? Why did you only call one? Did the defense called one witness? One witness. Why? Oh, the people crying. I don't know what's going on. Let me see, y'all. I don't even know what's happening. If they came up with a verdict or not. I mean, the guilty, the sentencing.
Now, the law would say, can you defend yourself in this manner or not? And so there's that issue to try to balance with. And
a black Sudanese tried to decapitate an Irish person with a knife in the street. Holy crap. I want to see if I can pull it up.
Of color, if there was a black juror on there, does that, suggest that they would have seen it less criminal or not? And so, the discussion, our verdict still would have had to come from 12 people.
Sure.
Would have had to have been a unanimous verdict. We generally think of teachers as being
that is insane. Yeah,
mediators among disputes in schools.
So let me say this. The legal system is saying, people who work in law are saying that he was overcharged, that murder should have never been a charge at all. This is coming from the legal people. They're probably open, they're probably staying anonymous. I don't know. Like I said, I'm watching the news live. And it's interesting that the people that work in law are saying that no. He was overcharged from the gate. That never should have been a murder charge from the beginning. It never should have been a murder charge. But here you got, like I said, this big, tall white boy playing football, hovering over you. Even if Carmelo had tried to jump up and attempt like he was going to fight or to just get up, it was so easy for Metcalf to punch him in the face, start beating on him, and the beating could have turned into a unaliving of Carmelo. What will we be saying then? Would he have just got simple probation? Would he have been arrested? Would he have anything? No, he probably would have got probation. It somehow still would have been the black kid's fault, and this kid would have got probation or, 5 years suspended fucking sentence or something like that. It's just insane. It's absolutely insane. I think I'm gonna if anybody wants to come up, the link in the chat, the link is in the chat. If you want to come up and discuss it. Let me see. I'm kind of hoping they don't come up with a sentencing until tomorrow, because I don't want to really. I don't want to have to sleep on this tonight.
That for whatever reason the state may have decided that wasn't the best type of juror for this type of case.
I guess that's what surprised me, Russell and Sean, because when you do think of teachers, you think of the profession, you think of someone who's going to weigh different sides of an issue, someone who would be neutral and look at the information. I mean, really look at the evidence that would be provided and deal with it on a intellectual or a non-emotional way. And I guess I just was surprised that the teachers, that would have been a profession that they would not have wanted to be on the panel.
Perhaps there's, and Russell will speak to this better than me, but perhaps there's the idea that they might be overly sympathetic to a young person, race notwithstanding.
Right, and I think that, but you know, and I don't currently know the occupations of the other jurors. But if your strikes are among a conservative rancher who's let's say he has some cattle in North Collin County,
Okay, YouTube is not gonna let me play this. Ain't that something? Ain't that something? Nope. Let me try another video. Nah, YouTube look like it has it blocked. Yeah, look like YouTube gonna have this blocked. I'll have to wait on one of my moderators to come to see
and
if
I
we can
have a
put it on
teacher,
screen.
I may choose to strike the teacher in favor of the rancher because I feel like the rancher may be less compassionate than the teacher. And so it's also a little bit of a relativity type thing. Or if I have a person who does what we call hard sciences, engineers, well, they may be less compassionate.
The Krasnetine's brothers.
Karmelo Anthony was just found guilty of murdering Alston Metcalf. This is a biased jury.
He said it's a biased jury and corrupt judge.
And corrupt judge. We all know it. No, let's go back. That's what Republicans would say if this went the other way. I'm going to say right here, flat out, that law and order worked. Our court system and judicial system is working. Unlike the other side, we shouldn't jump to the conclusion that the jury is biased or the judge is biased or corrupt merely because.
Man, look at this thing. Belfast. Oh, man. These cars set on fire. Whose cars is that? Random people's cars? Kids running through the street? What the heck?
So we have cars being set on fire, kids running through the streets. Like I said, I can't show this. I don't know how to bring up the video, even if I try to.
Do closing arguments.
They're still in recess. I guess they haven't gotten the charge yet.
Still waiting on the charge.
And closing arguments.
Yeah, I think we're going to hear, or we won't be able to actually hear it, but yeah, I think we'll get closing arguments and then the deliberation.
Yes.
Given the way that this is rolling,
It is. The whole system is corrupt. It really, really, really is.
Verdict. And we are seeing just a tremendous emotional reaction from some of the people in the crowd. Again, it was probably about 30 seconds to 60 seconds after we announced it on the air that people started getting the alerts on their phone. You could see everybody starting to look down at their phone and getting those updates and finding out that Karmelo Anthony has been found guilty of murder. We just got word from inside the courtroom that they are proceeding to the punishment phase. And Jobin Puneker, our reporter in the courtroom, says that he saw Karmelo Anthony's mother audibly sobbing in the courtroom after that verdict was read. Again, you can see some of the reaction here from outside the courtroom. We're going to keep an eye on that. But Rebecca, Tanya, I apologize for interrupting you, but I would like to bring you in for just to touch on the emotional toll that this has taken on two families.
Well, Chris, there have been people here that I have seen every single day since I got here during jury selection. Many of them fought to get into that courtroom so they could see some of the proceedings. And there were people on both sides trying to get those seats, all very emotional, but some people have been here every single day. And so many people on both sides, Austin Metcalf's family and friends wanted justice for him. They felt like he died in a senseless, very horrific way. Then there are the people on Carmelo's Anthony camp who felt like the system was rigged against him because there were three.
Now there's another situation. While Karmelo was standing, while Metcalf was standing over Karmelo, while Karmelo was sitting down, threatening him and bullying him, it makes me think, like, did anybody jump up and say, did the twin, anybody, even your twin could have said, hey man, leave him alone, like he ain't doing nothing, he ain't bothering nobody. No, both of y'all started to bully him. Nobody got up and said, why don't y'all just go ahead and leave him alone? No, because y'all were fucking bullies and the whole school is probably scared of you. You're fucking bullies. But that's okay. Karmelo is finna probably go to prison he is going to prison for 5 to 99 years. And Metcalf, your ass is dead at your own fucking hands. And as cruel as that shit might sound, that's how it is. Because people keep saying when somebody push you or shove you, that doesn't equal to you taking their life. Shut the fuck up. Because like I said, Karmelo should have kept his fucking hands to himself. You don't get the right to just go. You don't get the right to go in somebody else's house and tell a motherfucker to get up and get out. If this ain't your house, you didn't buy it, you ain't paying the bill. That wasn't his tent. Who the fuck he think he was? Well, now you're gone. Now you're gone. You and your brother is the same ones that done beat y'all's daddy up. Y'all wasn't no good little angel ass kids. Now they're saying that the boys do jujitsu. I don't know if all this stuff is true or not, but like I said, I'm just watching the live, and it's a lot. It's a lot. This trial just went too fast for me. It just went too fast.
Identified themselves as African American jurors that were kicked off this jury that were
And
not
there
kicked, I wouldn't say kicked off, but they were not selected as
there
jurors,
are no.
or they did not make the cut.
Okay,
And
so
people
listen.
felt, that
She said there were no African Americans that made the cut to be jurors. This is what she just said. There were no African Americans made the cut to even be selected. How the fuck did that happen? How did that happen? How did he not to get to pick? How did he not have any peers? So this gonna be an immediate appeal, which ain't gonna go no fucking where, because he's black and he's in Texas and he's in motherfucking America. This ain't finna go nowhere. But I'm gonna go ahead and end this live. We don't really have nobody coming on here. I don't have no moderators. It is a last minute live. I'm grateful to those of you who did show up. If anybody on here is a moderator, knows how to mod, please send me a message. Let me put my hold on, I'm gonna drop my email. So please leave me an email at KimberlyLevy@gmail.com if you are somebody who is interested in being a YouTube moderator, because I do need some more YouTube moderators. My moderators are very busy and going through, life. Life is life. Life is life for everybody. And this was a last minute live. So I'm going to go ahead and end it. I just kind of hope and pray that they don't come up with his sentencing tonight, because I'm not going to be able to sleep. I'm already probably not going to be able to sleep.
The justice system was just not going to work for Carmelo Anthony. So I suspect that that's some of the emotion that you are seeing here right now.
I can't believe he didn't have not one Black American juror. That's disturbing.
Talk to her a little bit about the racial makeup of this jury.
Yeah, I heard a lot of people saying that there were
Libby, send me an email.
minorities or that it was an all-white jury. That was not the case. There were Asian Americans. There were a lot of women. There was also a Muslim woman, a woman that also, I would say probably 4 Asian Americans. And, we don't know because the jury questionnaires are not public record. That was to protect the jury. The judge spent a lot of time trying to protect this jury because there have been threats against people in this case on both sides, and the judge wanted to make sure that the jury was protected, and so a lot of their information was never made public. And we could hear the crowd getting louder and louder, and I'm not sure what this is about, but there have been people out here calling for peace, to tell everybody to please stay calm. It is a very, very emotional time for people out here.
It is, and I think that, and we can see behind us that this crowd is pretty heated. And I was, Rebecca, on the other side of me, I watched as a number of additional Collin County Sheriff's deputies walked up. You obviously can seeing some people being pushed out. I don't know exactly what's going on, but now
there's a woman with a baby that is
come a little bit towards us.
And again, you've had people out here that are not here because, Chris, they truly wanted to see any of this stuff. They never made it into the courtroom. They never even tried to get into the courtroom. They were here for their own political purposes or whatever. And that is what you're seeing. And now you're seeing people screaming at one another. And the Sheriff's Department, I will say, the Collin County Sheriff's Department has done a very good job of dispersing these crowds. There were a couple of times when they were having clashes, and they immediately got in the middle of them and stopped some of the confrontations. They're going to let them have their free speech. They're going to let them, do what they are going to do, but they're not going to let people get violent, and they have made that very clear.
This is just sickening to me.
The crowd outside has just heard that verdict, and we are seeing just a tremendous emotional reaction from some of the people in the crowd. Again, it was probably about 30 seconds to 60 seconds after we announced it on the air that people started getting the alerts on their phone. You could see everybody starting to look down at their phone and getting those updates and finding out that Karmelo Anthony was guilty. We just got word from inside the courtroom that they are proceeding to the punishment phase. And Jobin Puneker, our reporter in the courtroom, says that he
Thank
saw
you, Libby. I
Karmelo
just got your
Anthony's
email.
mother audibly sobbing in the courtroom after that verdict was read. Again, you can see some of the reaction
This
here.
Is a case right
outside
here
the courtroom. We're
where
keep an eye on that.
I'm talking to my husband now. This is a case right here where a black kid was sitting on the ground under a tent at a high school. 2 big white football player kids came and was hovering over him, talking shit, bullying him, grabbed him and pushed him. And in the middle of a fight, the boy pulled out a knife and stabbed him, and the boy died. And so that's self-defense to me. If you're standing over me, bullying me and pushing me, I can't get up and fight you. You're this big. The boy's probably like your size. He's a big white boys. Twins. He pulled out a knife and stabbed him. He don't try to kill him, but he ended up doing the job. He got the job done. However God wanted it to happen. It did. And they just found him guilty of murder. Not self-defense, murder.
In the U.S.
In the United States. And y'all, that's why I tell y'all wonder why we're all trying to leave there. We ain't just coming to Africa. We trying to go any damn where.
Back in Taylor said, he said, they don't give a fuck of wherever they're gonna live. Wherever they want to live, allow them to live. They don't have a place. It's not everybody wants to live in America. America is so crowded. It's not everybody wants to live in America. So if the black Americans say they want to live somewhere, allow them to live. So you shouldn't, if they come to live, people shouldn't be doing this like the stuff he was talking about, Black Americans issue. And Kevin Taylor. The time they are talking about Black Americans. Oh,
This 19-year-old, he was about 19 now, finna face up to 99 years in prison.
that's nice.
If I have anybody in here that's interested in being a moderator,
Just like that.
and you know how to mod, what I need are YouTube backstage moderators, people that will be up on stage with me. You'll meet me on here about 30 minutes prior to the live and help me set up the stage. You will know the music we're going to play, the intro, the outro, what we will and won't accept, what type of behavior will get you kicked off the screen, muted, blocked, and what type of behavior that will get you kicked out of the studio completely. So if you're interested, please send me an email. My email is posted. Again, I do need several moderators because, like, I have moderators now. None of them are here because this was last minute. They're not available. They have kids, they have jobs, and different things like that. We're here discussing the fact that Karmelo Anthony was just found guilty of murder. Not manslaughter, not guilty, no self-defense. He was found guilty of murder in the state of Texas. And now they're waiting for his sentence. All of this went a little too fast for me. I've never seen the trial go so fast and completed this quick. I am disturbed, like I said, with no Black Americans were on the jury. Well, I couldn't figure out why weren't there any Black people on that jury. Well, the lady just said no Black people qualified to be selected for jurors. What? Not one person? Okay. Okay. That's some real shit. Sickening.
Too much sickening.
I apologize for interrupting you, but I would like to bring you in for just to touch on the emotional toll that this has taken on two families.
Well, Chris, there have been people here that I have seen every single day.
Presumably, JD, you can hear me. You got Ken and Karen back here in the studio. Can you hear us okay, JD?
Yes, I've got you, Ken and Karen.
Okay, great. Give us a sense of what it was like in there.
Well, I just got out of the courtroom. The jury only deliberated for 2.5 hours in this case, and we went back inside so quickly. There was obviously a lot of tension inside that courtroom because of the hostility we've seen building over the last year on both sides. I remember when I saw Karmelo Anthony enter the courtroom, his lead defense attorney, Mike Howard, had his arm around him. His forehead was on Carmelo's forehead. They were in quiet conversation. It looked like that Howard was trying to console or to prepare Karmelo for what's to come, like he knew it would not be a good outcome with the jury coming back so quickly. The courtroom filled up. The judge announced that the jury had a verdict. The jury came in. Nobody on the jury that I could see looked at the defendant when they walked in. They sat down. The judge was handed the verdict. He read, of course, guilty of first-degree murder. At that point, we looked around the room for reaction. I didn't see any reaction from the jurors. Karmelo Anthony, who I was looking at, he stood with his head partially down, his eyes closed very tightly. You could see the wrinkles on the side of his forehead. He was obviously in some kind of agony.